So, here's an important question for you. What if I told you that some of the most beautiful, expensive, and prestigious luxury SUVs on the road today are actually financial time bombs, and the countdown doesn't even start until the warranty expires? See, these are the vehicles that people proudly drive off the lot thinking they finally made it, only to quietly panic a few years later when the coverage ends and the first five-figure repair estimate actually hits their inbox. So today, we're exposing the luxury SUVs you should absolutely avoid after warranty. Now, not because they're ugly, not because they're slow, but because once the safety net disappears, well, hey, ownership turns brutal very, very fast. So, just before we do take a deep dive, as always, it's imperative you hit that like button and subscribe so that you get notified the minute we produce another game changing video that affects your future choice of car or SUV. And I promise you'll appreciate it. So, buckle up and let's plunge deeper. So here's the uncomfortable truth. Luxury SUVs rarely fail because of engines alone. They fail because of stacked complexity. Air suspension layered on electronics, turbochargers layered on heat, driver assist systems layered on software that was never ever designed to age gracefully. Now, when everything is new, they feel incredible, but when everything ages at once, well, it's catastrophic. And the SUVs on this list, well, they age all at once. So let's start with one that shocks a lot of people. I'm talking about the Range Rover and the Range Rover Sport are mechanical confidence scams. Now, sure, they feel unstoppable when they're new. They've got gorgeous interiors, incredible ride quality, and a commanding presence. But post-warranty ownership is where the illusion totally collapses. Air suspension failures are not a possibility, they're actually an expectation. Compressors weaken, air struts leak, and ride height sensors begin cascading faults across multiple systems. Now, what makes Range Rovers especially dangerous is repair stacking. See, one issue rarely comes alone. A suspension fault triggers sensor faults. Sensor faults disable safety systems, and suddenly the vehicle is undrivable until everything is resolved simultaneously. Now, if you add in chronic electrical gremlins, cooling system failures, and software bugs that require dealer only programming, well, ownership becomes a financial hostage situation. Even owners who maintain these meticulously often face repeat failures simply because the systems are far too interdependent. So, by all means, lease them, love them, and then return them, but never, ever, ever own one after the warranty. Next up is a Mercedes-Benz GLE and GLS, and this one really hurts because people desperately want to believe. See, Mercedes builds some of the most seductive interiors in the industry. Ambient lighting, massive screens, soft closed doors, everything feels really, really expensive. But post warranty, these SUVs become rolling electrical systems first and vehicles second. Airmatic suspension failures are common and costly, often arriving without warning. Control modules fail in isolation, but they disable multiple systems simultaneously. The deeper issue is diagnostic complexity. See, a single fault can require hours of labor just to identify, and repairs often demand dealer level software access. Now, owners are shocked to learn that what looks like a minor issue can quickly escalate into thousands of dollars in labor before the parts are even installed. Now, these SUVs are phenomenal leases, but they're terrible long term ownership propositions once the warranty disappears. So, now let's talk about BMW, specifically the wrong BMWs. The BMW X7 and the V8 powered X5 variants are financial traps that are disguised as flagship luxury. Their engineering showcases when they're new. They're smooth, they're powerful, and technologically dazzling. But post-warranty ownership reveals the downside of that ambition. Heat management becomes a serious issue. Turbo placement stresses surrounding components. Valve stem seal failures are not rare, and cooling system components age prematurely. Now, what makes these especially dangerous is depreciation masking risk. Used prices fall quickly, tempting buyers into thinking they've scored a huge bargain. But in reality, they purchase deferred maintenance and future repair bills that will dwarf the actual purchase price. Now, if you add in adaptive air suspension, rear wheel steering, and complex driveline electronics, well, these SUVs become rolling liabilities. And again, these are lease only vehicles, and there is no smart exception. Now, next up is one that surprises first time luxury buyers every single year. I'm talking about the Jaguar F-Pace, which is one of the most visually striking luxury SUVs that's ever been designed, but sadly also one of the most frustrating to own after warranty. See, electrical reliability is inconsistent. Infotainment systems fail unpredictably. Sensors fault trigger limp modes without warning. And drivetrain issues often appear suddenly with little advance notice or clear diagnostic paths. Now, what makes the F-Pace particularly risky is inconsistency. See, some owners experience years of trouble-free driving, but others, well, they encounter repeated failures in rapid succession. Now, that unpredictability alone disqualifies it as a smart long-term purchase. Luxury ownership should provide confidence and calm, not constant uncertainty. Now, after warranty, Jaguar ownership feels like gambling, not planning. Now, next up, let's talk about a brand people assume is totally safe. The Audi Q7 and the Q8 are deceptively dangerous after warranty. Now, sure, they look refined, they drive beautifully, and they feel solid, but underneath, they're loaded with complexity. Multi-zone air suspension systems, advanced driver assistance modules, and extremely tight engine bays that amplify heat-related failures. Labor costs skyrocket because, well, access alone becomes a challenge. Water intrusion issues, sensor failures, and suspension faults are common enough that many independent shops actively warn buyers away. Now, unlike the smaller Q5, these larger Audis suffer from size-driven complexity that overwhelms long-term ownership economics. Sure, they're impressive machines, but durability was clearly not the priority with these. So finally, we get to the biggest misconception of all, and I'm talking about the Maserati Levante. Now, this is not a luxury SUV, it's a branding exercise. See, parts availability is limited, dealer networks are very thin, diagnostics are painful, and even routine maintenance can involve long waits and inflated labor costs. Now, once the warranty ends, resale value totally collapses and ownership becomes isolating. See, the Levante doesn't fail in dramatic ways, it fails in frustrating, expensive, slow motion ways. Owners often discover that simple repairs require specialty knowledge, unique parts, and dealer involvement. So this is an SUV designed to be admired in a valet line, not owned long term. After warranty, well, the romance ends really quick. So here's a rule that separates smart luxury buyers from everyone else. Never ever stack risk. If an SUV has a complex engine, avoid complex suspension. If it has advanced electronics, avoid experimental drivetrains. And if it has all three, just walk away. Luxury SUVs that survive after warranty are conservative under the skin, even if they look exciting on the surface. The ones that fail try to impress forever and punish you for believing them. So if you want to see the luxury SUVs that actually survive after warranty, watch the companion video that I've linked on the screen right now. And if you're currently considering one of the SUVs on this list, drop the year and the mileage in the comments. I'll tell you honestly whether it's a smart buy or it's a financial landmine. And don't forget, hit that like if that saved you from a mistake, and subscribe so you don't miss the next one. And by the way, take care, my fellow driving enthusiasts, and I'll see you guys on the next one.